So I'm just getting home from Sync Up, and I wanted to just quickly record a video. I know the lighting looks terrible right now. It's, sundown basically. I wanted to just make a quick video just to share my initial raw thoughts after that just incredible weekend. How I'm feeling about it, what I want to do in the future, how we can make it even better, and just the value of what we just did there. It's kind of like I'm making a video right now. Of course, I'm going to post it to YouTube. I'll post this Monday morning, but I'm shooting this Sunday evening. So, but my next thought was, I'm going to go back to probably making my YouTube videos as I usually do. Monday and Wednesday I release them, and I get on a camera like this, and I tell you guys what I'm thinking. You guys give me your comments, which is cool. That's kind of how a lot of you guys found me and how we started creating this community. But like, compared to what we just did for those 2 days, this feels so cheap right now. It really does. It feels like such an artificial replacement for what we really want, which is human connection. Like, we want to be in the same room with each other. We want to look each other in the eye. We want to laugh. We want to share stories. We want to share industry stories, right? And it's very clear to me after just this 2-day event, the first in-person one we ever did, that like, that's what this has been all about. I made a comment in one of my last presentations that like, everything I've done with Sync My Music, all of the videos, all the tutorials, Sync Academy, all the digital stuff I've been doing, standing in front of my computer screen for the last 6 years, all of that was really for this weekend. That's what all of that was really for. It was to provide an opportunity for like-minded individuals with like-minded goals and philosophies and values to find each other. And that's what we finally did. And now we've taken it to the physical realm. And that's what's been blowing my mind as I was driving home tonight and just trying to soak this all in. I can't quite process it all. I probably won't even sleep tonight. I think just all the energy, I'm buzzing still. Even though I'm much more mellow now than I was when I was first getting to the event. But I want to talk to you guys about my plans for this event moving forward, at least for right now. Obviously things can change, but just where my initial feeling is based on how well that went. Number one, we're going to do it again. I think we're just going to do it again same time next year. I was just kind of getting so excited about it. I was like, we should do this every single quarter. And maybe there's a way we could do it more often than once a year. And I ideally think we should, because we do need more community more often. And it's such a unique thing that we have to have each other that, once a year, if that's all we can do for now, hey, I'll take it. But we could do better for sure. So that's something I think I'm going to strive for, is to figure out how can we do this on a more regular basis than maybe an annual basis. I like the location. I really like the hotel. I really liked that it was close to LAX. I loved how they treated us. The service there was top notch. I mean, I'm going to give them 5-star reviews. They earned every penny that I paid them to rent that venue and to have everything we had. Our dinner we had Saturday night was beautiful, set up, appetizers right on the table, essentially, basically when we sat down. Like, top-notch service, guys. I couldn't ask for anything more from the venue. Most of you guys at the event gave me that feedback as well, saying we like the venue. And I also heard the feedback that we should just keep it in LA for now. I had a thought maybe we should do it, maybe go over to New York or go to Nashville or go to some other cities. But I think Scott made the point, Scott from Pro Feedback, who, by the way, was the best helper. He helped me out so many times, just countless things. And this is how awesome this guy is. He had to leave, unfortunately, Sunday morning. He couldn't stay for the entire event, but as I showed up Sunday morning to get ready for the event and get my stuff together, I come in and I noticed that like the speakers have been turned off because I guess we left them on. The projector cap had been put back on the little screen, so that is being protected. There was some trash in the back that had been picked up. Like, everything was like really tidy. And I actually thought it was the hotel because they had been so good to us already. I was like, oh boy, we really just left a mess, and they came in here and cleaned up our room after us. Sure enough, it was Scott. Scott literally woke up early, came into the room, cleaned up our stuff for us, and then went to his flight. No words. Like, just Scott's a rock star. If you ever have a chance to even work with that guy, Scott Johnson, just so you know, from Pro Feedback Sync Academy, just, yeah, he's a guy you want to be in touch with for whatever. So he made a good point. He said, you know, a lot of people that want to go to an event, especially about sync licensing, understand that LA is pretty much the place to do that, because that's where the TV and film industry is. And that's where the production music libraries are. A lot of them are. And for me, if this is going to be an event that I'm not completely going, broke over, I don't think I can afford to fly out, 5 or 10 library CEOs to the East Coast from out here. The flights, the hotel, the food costs, all that kind of stuff, speaking fees. Right now with the event being pretty small and intimate, I just don't think I can do that. But if you keep it in LA, they just got to drive to the event, they speak, and they actually hung out. Mike and Trevor were there for the full 2 days, which was a really cool side effect benefit of that event. A lot of you guys got to just bump into them as you were going to get your morning coffee or getting your ice bucket or whatever, you're running into those guys. And that's a really cool thing about Sync Up that I think is pretty unique among many other music or sync events, is a lot of times the guest speakers will show up, be at the panel, and then shake a couple hands and then they're out. But if we're all in the same hotel, right, we're all eating at the same restaurant and we're staying in the rooms and we're coming down to the conference room, there's just way more opportunities to just hang and kind of bump into each other. So that was what was really cool about this event. But yeah, LA is probably going to be the place that we want to keep it for now, on an annual basis. I think that's sort of the smart move. I know for sure I can do better on the virtual experience. And for those of you that joined us virtually, I'm really appreciative for you guys. And I know that there were a couple of things that weren't ideal about your experience. And I do appreciate you guys. A lot of you guys gave me some great feedback on it. And I agree with all of it. One being, we need more cameras. We basically just had one camera for that entire shot, and it didn't quite capture the full essence of what was happening in the room. We need probably 3 cameras at least, showing different angles when somebody's asking a question, when we have guest speakers on this side of the room, or you have me. So something I really didn't think about before I started the event. I thought, one webcam will basically cover it, but no, I think we should have a couple more. There was also a little bit of the audio problem, which I think that is something I could solve, but I think by the time we started the event, it was just, I would have had to stop the live stream, reset all the equipment. I just figured it's not worth doing all that. And basically it was only just when you guys had the music playing that you probably heard some really not so great sounding audio when we were reviewing the music. So do apologize for that. That can be easily fixed. We will certainly fix that. And a couple of probably volume modulations, because some guest speakers are going to be speaking and right into the mic, and others are they're not so trained on it, so they're kind of way back here. So I know there was a little bit of a difference there, and that's on me, because I think I needed to more properly coach our CEOs when they came to the panel to say, just make sure, you hold that mic real close like you're a rock star, So I think a lot of that stuff we can certainly fix for next time. I also felt a little bit distracted sometimes where the virtual crowd versus the in-person crowd. Like if I would talk to the in-person crowd, I'd felt like, well, I'm kind of neglecting the virtual people. And when I talked to you guys, I felt like kind of weird talking to a camera in front of a room full of 50 people. Like, I don't know exactly how to navigate that. But I do think it's important to open this up to people virtually. I don't want to just shut that off. So that's going to be something that I have to kind of think about a little bit more. The other feedback I got from everybody in the room was they liked it. It was a pretty intimate event. We only had 50 people, really. Maybe with our guest speakers, we were up to 60, but it was a crowded room. We had every seat taken, but it was small enough that you could pretty much meet everybody there and get a good face-to-face time with them and feel like it became more of a family, basically, by the end of it. I had originally thought maybe we should grow it to be a much bigger event, maybe not just 50, but 100 or 200. But more and more people were telling me that they liked it small and intimate. They said it was more valuable that way. It felt better. It felt, I don't know, I think they were saying that basically it was a better experience than maybe some of the other events where there's hundreds of people and it's just like a swarm of humanity, and it's just a little chaotic and noisy, right? This is a much smaller, kind of intimate sort of gathering that we have going on. Where to go next? Just meeting you guys, I mean, when I first arrived, it was like, there's Scott. Been talking to Scott for years. He's a lot taller than I thought too. All of you guys are actually way taller than I thought you would be. I'm pretty much the shortest person in the room. I found out real quick, especially in all those pictures. You might see some of them pop up here and there. I basically look like a midget compared to everybody that we were taking pictures with, so that was kind of funny. But yeah, then Hans shows up and I was like, oh my gosh, Hans. Hans from Pro Feedback, that you guys know who he is. and obviously Trevor shows up, and Trevor and I, obviously we've known each other for many, many years, but it's just like, I told him, I'm like, I'm so glad you showed up, man, because I was so scared. I'm like, I'm in a room full of people that have seen me for years. Like, they know a lot about me. They know a lot about my history and my personality, and I know very little about all of them. You know, I know their names, I know a little bit about some of their stories, and I've probably seen a picture or two and maybe a Zoom call here or there. But, you know, they're all kind of, they have the advantage here. I really feel like I'm sort of, you know, it's a double-sided or a two-sided window. Is that what it is? A double-sided window where, like, they can see me, but I can't see them. Like, that was the feeling I had coming into the event. And then I told Trevor, like, thank God I have one person in here that I have history with, that knows me, that I know you, and I'm not nervous at all to see you, you know? So that was kind of, that was cool to see him there. And then, did I meet anybody else that first night? It was Scott, Hans, Trevor, my brain is just kind of failing right now, but no, I think it was those three. We went and grabbed a dinner. And Alvaro, you're a rock star, man. Totally. He was one of our VIP ticket holders. He just showed up and said, hey, can I help? And I was like, yeah, we could always use some help. So he hung, and he really helped us pack up as well at the end. A couple of the members helped us pack. John also helped us. So, man, you guys were just like, hey, let me help. You just showed up and helped me. So that was just humbling to know how, you know, down for the cause you guys really were. So I really appreciate that. And then just showing up that first day and shaking everybody's hand and welcoming them in and getting you guys your swag bags. And, you know, my first presentation was really all about mindset and creating a strong foundation for yourself, because we did talk about a lot of technical stuff. We talked about AI, we talked about technology, we talked about new opportunities, really powerful information we shared. But my first presentation was like, none of that's going to matter if you're having self-doubting thoughts, you know, if you have an internal mindset that's going to be self-destructive. So I wanted to make sure our first presentation was really more about getting some clarity on our mindset and how we're going to deal with struggles in our career, because we're going to have them. So I thought that was a wise move, to kind of always focus and go back to the core basics of our psychology before we go deeper into these bigger topics. CEO panel was awesome. Perry from Epic Music. Troy was really cool. First time me meeting him from Alloy Tracks. Troy was hilarious, cracking jokes left and right. Really down to earth dude, you know, big placements, but one of the most down to earth people you'll ever meet. Same with Perry, you know, these are big guys, like big, huge players in the industry, super cool, normal people you can just go talk to, you know. That's what I knew that was going to be what happened at this event. These are not Hollywood people that are going to, you know, have a chip on their shoulder. And I wanted you guys all to see that. So if you were in person virtually, I think you did see that that's who these people are. They're just like you and I, just regular human beings that are trying to pay their bills and find opportunities and serve a marketplace just like we are, right? And great questions. You guys coming up to the mic. I tried to get as many of the virtual questions as I could. Some of them felt like we had repeated those questions from people in person, so I didn't get to them, or some of them were a little bit off topic, so I didn't want to ask some of our, you know, people, our guests at the time, some of those questions if they weren't quite relevant to what we were talking about. So, yeah, I think the virtual experience can be improved upon for sure. I need to put some deeper thought into how to do that. But I hope, for those of you that did get a virtual ticket, comment below, like, how enjoyable was it? Was it, you know, not that enjoyable? Yeah, that's definitely the biggest part that I think I need to work on for sure. I think the in-person was pretty solid. I think we had a really great schedule, a lineup, content, interaction. I think all that stuff was really working well. It's just, we got to figure out this virtual thing to make sure that those of you that can't join us, I know some of you are overseas, and also I just know it's not cheap to fly, you know, and it's not cheap to stay in some of these hotels. Of course, we got probably one of the cheapest rates you can get near LAX, but it's still LA. And those of you that live in LA or have ever visited LA, you know that there's no such thing as cheap. It's all crazy expensive down there. So, well, that's it. I think I'm rambling now. I'm getting tired. I still got to unpack all my equipment. Probably, again, not going to sleep for a long time. So I'm just going to keep busy and do something productive until, I don't know, maybe the morning time, we'll find out. But it is so calm and quiet right now, and I just feel really good. I'm just thankful for all of you guys. Thank you for making Sync Up a possibility and a reality. And here's to the future of Sync Up, and who knows how big this thing can get and how far we can go with these in-person events. I'm really excited about the future.